Hello, welcome to HITC Sport. Alright, a bit of a different video today. Recently I did a video about what the Premier League table would look like if your team brought back their manager from 2009. Now, let's go for the reverse. You keep your manager as he is now, but he's managing the squad from 10 years ago. How would the table look like? Let's have a look. 20th Bournemouth. Alright, Eddie Howe's a miracle worker, sure. But there are levels to this, lads. It's one thing keeping a Bournemouth side in the top flight when you're able to go out and chuck 20 million at human beanpoles to sit on your bench. Quite another matter surviving in the top flight of English football with a League 2 squad, because that's where Bournemouth were 10 years ago. Stuck on piss-soaked 6-hour trips to out the back arse of Grimsby and Torquay. For example, look at someone like the True Geordie. Yeah, he's doing well, flying it. He's leveled up with equipment. Force him to go back filming with an iPhone stuck halfway up his nose, and then let's see if he can film the kickoff on that. It's the same with Bournemouth. Yes, the likes of Warren Cummings, Brett Pittman and Lee Bradbury can all do well in League 2. Put them in the Premier League and they'd be laughed off the pitch every week. Considering they spent that season losing to the likes of Hereford, Rochdale and Dagenham and Redbridge, can you imagine them trying to defend against Aguero and Mo Salah? Even Jesse Lingard will be helping himself to hat-tricks. 19th, Brighton. 10 years ago, Brighton were 16th in League 1. Graham Potter seems like a decent enough manager, but give him that squad, I mean, apart from Glenn Murray and maybe Tommy Elphick, that squad was absolutely woeful. And I'm being generous with my praise for Tommy Elphick. 18th, Norwich. Yeah, no change. Norwich still in the relegation zone. Listen, Daniel Farke is out of his depth with the squad he has now, and that's with a few good players in the team. Give him a League 1 squad in the top flight, and the club would almost be going out of existence. Can you imagine the cricket source? If Farke was playing his naive brand of attacking football without a care in the world for the goddamn defence, only instead of Timu Pukia and Todd Cantwell, he has Grant Holt and Wes Hoolahan. Can you imagine if Farke was trying to keep a team afloat with Russell Martin and Zach Whitbread in defence? It's like Kate Winslet trying to survive the Titanic by putting down paper towels. 17th, Crystal Palace. Again, Crystal Palace's squad from 10 years ago. They were finishing 21st in the Bastard Championship. Yeah, they had both Nathaniel Klein and Victor Moses on the right wing. But what else? Stern John up front. Neil Dans partnering Darren Ambrose in the centre of the park. Paddy McCarthy and Clint Hill at the back. Having a strong right hand side is good and all, but it sort of just imbalances the team, making them look like your average 16-year-old who's given too much time alone in the house. I know Hodgson is a decent manager, but no. 16th, Leicester. Look, Brendan Rodgers is a great manager, one of the best in Europe, but still there are limits to this man's talents. Leicester's squad from 10 years ago, they were 5th in the second tier. No, it's not terrible, but I mean, their top scorer was Matty Fryatt. They had a midfield consisting of Matt Oakley and Jay Spearing. They had a nearly decomposed Nobby Solano stuck on the right wing. Alex Bruce was even sitting on the bench. Rodgers is doing a great job, but take away James Maddison, Jamie Vardy. Instead, give him Jan Kermorgant and Martin Waghorn. It's like telling Kim Kardashian to do her makeup with a bag full of crayons. Somehow, I don't think she'd be winning Sexiest Female of the Year awards then. 15th, Wolves. Listen, we all know that Nuno Espirito is a top coach, but he's also used to working with top players. Take away his Portuguese superstars, lads with Champions League experience, and hand him a bag full of terribleness. Oh good lord, 10 years ago Wolves finished 15th in the Premier League, and that was deemed a great season for them. If Santo dragged Neves, Moutinho and Jimenez to 15th in the league nowadays, Wolves fans would be calling for his head. Instead, give him Carl Henry midfield, Andy Keogh on the wing, Kevin Doyle up front, Greg Halford at the back. Oh, Santo will be preparing to shoot himself in the face. It's like replacing Lewis Hamilton's turbo engine sports car with a three-wheel Jeep, or asking Gordon Ramsay to cook you a steak, armed with just a spoon and a rotting dead cow carcass stuffed in the corner. Let's see you whip up a 5-star meal now, Gordon. 14th, Watford. Christ, 10 years ago Watford were finishing 16th in the Championship. They lost 20 games that season in their second tier, and yet somehow I think they would miraculously finish higher than that in this top flight. Have I just sniffed a big bag of glue for breakfast? Relax, lads, alright? I haven't torn chunks of my own brain out of my head last night. I think we all know, considering the career choices in my life, I don't really much room for maneuver. Hear me out. Yes, that Watford squad finished 11 places below Leicester back in 2010, but I think Nigel Pearson has a lot to answer for. Call me insane, but I think Pearson is able to get more out of fewer tools than someone like Brendan Rodgers. Yes, Rodgers is the one you want sitting in the driver's seat of a Ferrari, sure, but Pearson is someone who can spend about 20 years in a Volvo without breaking the engine. And to help my point, the man in charge of Leicester 10 years ago, finishing above Watford, was Nigel Pearson. With someone like Rodgers, ironically a man who was once sacked at Watford, he needs a certain group of players to play a certain type of way. Pearson, he doesn't. He just needs to put the fear of God into any dressing room he walks into. No doubt threatening to stick his players' house pets in a goddamn freezer until they start winning a game or two. He's the type of man who can put an opposition player in a chokehold and think nothing of it, despite it being in front of 40,000 witnesses. So yes, Watford squad might have been piss poor, packed to the rafters with Lloyd Doyley, Will Hoskins and Heider Helgeson, but I still think Pearson would get something out of that squad. 13th, Burnley. 10 years ago, Burnley were a strange fish. Yeah, they were relegated from the Premier League, but I put that more down to poor management. Before Owen Coyle jumped ship halfway through the season, they were comfortably staying up. They'd beaten Man United and were top half in October. It's the fact they replaced Coyle with Brian Laws in January, a man who'd spent nearly a decade in charge of Scunthorpe. That was the move that, sat morale and sent them down. But Dyche is like Pearson, right? He can get a lot out of very little. Is there anything that man can't do? Apart from obviously dislodging the bowling ball stuck in his throat. 12th, Sheffield United. Don't get me wrong, Sheffield United squad 10 years ago was utter guerrilla spunk. If you were offered the chance to manage that bang average Blade squad in the top flight, you'd probably say, nah, I'm alright. I prefer to keep my dignity. But there were one or two gems in there, like Kyle Walker, and look what they had on the bench. I think Chris Wilder might know a thing or two about getting stuff out of Billy Sharp. Again, Wilder is one of those old-fashioned British coaches who's used to dealing with terrible players. He could roll up his sleeves and get the most out of any set. I think with Wilder, they'd be alright. 11th, West Ham. Bang average. That is what West Ham would be. Boring mid-table plotters. I mean, go back 10 years ago and the squad featured in annual relegation battles. Probably more to do with the fact that the owners just kept appointing terrible managers. Expecting to avoid relegation battles with likes of Gianfranco Zola and Avram Grant, it's like trying to cut the lawn with a pair of scissors and hoping to be done before Christmas. Moyes, no, he's not great, but he's a comfortable mid-table boss. The likes of Carlton Cole, Scott Parker in his prime, alongside Mark Noble, Matthew Upson at the back with Rob Green in nets. Yeah, I think Moyes would do alright. I mean, he managed to finish 4th with Marcus Bent up front, so why not? 10th, Southampton. Right. 10 years ago, Southampton were a League One club. So what in a cow's left pigtail am I doing putting them 10th in the league? It's not as if I even particularly rate Ralph Hasenhüttl all that highly. Well, yes, okay, they were officially a League One squad, but lads, this squad was not 3rd tier. For Christ's sake, I think they proved that by getting promoted twice in a row. A League One club, yes, but it was filled to the brim with future England internationals, future Euro 2016 champions, future £20 million signing for both Man United and Arsenal, FA Cup finalists, future Champions League winners. There was more talent in that 3rd tier squad than there is in their current top flight one. Honestly lads, that is the best League One squad I've ever seen in my entire life. 9th, Newcastle. Right, it's official, you all think I'm mental. Not only have I stuck Steve Bruce 9th in the league, I stuck Steve Bruce 9th in the league with a championship squad. But no, right, can we please stop pretending that this shambles of a fancy league that I've constructed is Premier League quality? Because so far, I've just included a smattering of Championship and League One teams. I mean, for Christ's sake, I've just pulled a squad out of League One and stuck it 10th in this league. Clearly, this league is more Championship quality than it is Premier League, so I really have to stop pretending. But yeah, anyway, yeah, the Toon squad was stuck in the 2nd tier 10 years ago. But this squad is more or less the same team that finished mid-table in their first season back. The core, the spine of this team. Fabrizio Colaccini and Jose Enrique at the back. Joey Barton and Alan Smith in the middle. Jonas Gutierrez on the wing, Shola Amiobi and Andy Carroll up front. All top Premier League players. I mean, for Christ's sake, Danny Simpson went on to win the goddamn league. 8th, Aston Villa. Right, finally an actual Premier League quality squad. Now we're talking. Aston Villa 10 years ago were 6th in the league and boasting some real top talent. James Milner, Ashley Young, Fabian Delph and Stuart Downing all went on to sign for bigger clubs. Richard Dunn, Stan Petrov, Luke Young, solid players. Even the lads nailed to their bench went on to win the league and score in cup finals. So yeah, I think Dean Smith would do alright with this bunch, but not quite as good as Martin O'Neill. 7th, Everton. 10 years ago, David Moyes had this Everton squad 8th in the league. I would never in good conscience sit here and try and pretend to you that Carlo Ancelotti wouldn't even improve on this slightly. This is Carlo Ancelotti we're talking about. He is getting the side in the top 7. Although to be honest, having gone from coaching Kaká, Ronaldo and Zlatan to suddenly being handed Leon Osman and Jack Rodwell, he'd probably get sick in his mouth. 6th, Man City. Ah yes, the controversial one. Pep Guardiola in 6th. 6 places down a goddamn... Pep! Chuck me in a straitjacket and throw away the key! No lads, listen. I have reasoning for this. Yeah, I realise Pep has never finished lower than 4th in his entire managerial career. A career that spanned nearly 12 years. But still, lads, he's also been coaching Messi, Aguero, Lewandowski in a one-team league. I mean, come on, he's had it pretty easy. Pep is a wonderful manager, but he's very dependent on one style of play. For example, if you stuck him in a championship relegation battle, it would probably melt his brain. What's he gonna do with Stoke? Pass his way out of trouble? Teach Jack Butland how to play with his feet? That's like teaching a dog how to talk. Everywhere he's gone, Pep has molded his style of play, with bags of money to do it. After just one transfer window, he was forced to put up with slow fullbacks, Iheanacho up front, Jesus Navas on the wing, and the results were disastrous. Give Pep the Man City side from 10 years ago, who botched top 4 qualification, with a squad filled to the brim with overpaid flops. So you like playing with 2 expansive fullbacks? Tough, try win bridge on Versailles. So you like defenders who play off from the back? Well, here's Kolo Touré playing like a hyperactive puppy. So you like tippy-tappy fluid passing styles? Nah, how about Nigel de Jong, whose sole job it is to kick people? You like using second half impact subs? Nah, how about Benjani? Sure, he hasn't had a shot on target in about 6 months, but still, it's the best we can offer. You like keepers who play off from the back? Shay Given hasn't used his feet since 1991. 5th, Arsenal. See, this is how insane this whole idea was. Not only do I have Mikel Arteta coaching Arsenal, I also have him halfway down down the league playing in Everton's midfield. How does this work? Listen, Arteta could turn out to be a visionary and the next Pep. He could also be the next Paul Clement, who knows? What I do know is that Arsenal's third place squad from 10 years ago was packed to the rafters with world class talent. Fourth, Man United. 10 years ago, Manchester United won the League Cup and finished second in the league. And yet here I am predicting them to scrape into the top 4 by their fingertips. Why? Well, essentially because you've replaced Sir Alex Ferguson with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Do I really need to elaborate? Third, Tottenham. Tottenham 10 years ago were pipping Man City to 4th in the league. And that was under Harry Redknapp, a man more famous for relegation battles. Give Jose Mourinho those tools from 10 years ago. Gomez and nets, Ledley King at the back, Luka Modric in midfield, a player he bought himself for Real Madrid, Jermaine Defoe up front. Mourinho would have this team fighting for the title. Second, Liverpool. 10 years ago, Liverpool were finishing second under Rafa Benitez. Lads, that 7th place finish was just a hangover to them bottling the league the year before. It was still a squad bristling with world-class players. Give Jurgen Klopp, Steven Gerrard and Fernando Torres in their prime. Javi Mascherano in midfield with a work rate of Jamie Carragher, Yossi Benayoun and Dirk Kuyt. And yeah, I think they'd squeak into second. First, Chelsea. 10 years ago, Chelsea were League Cup winners. They scored over 100 goals and were perceived as the best team in the country. Yeah, in this scenario, I'm replacing Carlo Ancelotti with Frank Lampard as player-manager. But that's no great disaster. I mean, this Chelsea team proved when they got to the Champions League final under Avram Grant. As a group of players, they just kind of managed themselves. Anyway, that's the end of the video, lads. Oh, this was just a stupid idea. Let me know in the comments below if you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And as always, I'll talk to you in a while.